Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone, everywhere, depending on where you are watching and joining us from.
Good evening and good morning.
Today is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we're talking about careers and the paths that lead to them. What are they? How do we achieve them? And perhaps how do we embark on a sure career? Even in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, people still have to work, eat, pray, live, and you need a job to do that. I am your co-host, Ambassador Lisa Parks, and welcome to Africaonline TV. Now, if you're tuning in on Facebook and you want to join the conversation, join us over here at Zoom, ID number 514-199-854. That's 514-199-854. And now for the editorial with my co-host, Nia-san. Take it away, my brother.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Lisa. It's always a pleasure. And I know we missed ourselves last week, but then things happen for a reason or the other. That said, Sunday, December 5 is the 399th day of the year, rather 339th day, not 99, sorry, 339th day of the year 2021, 339, which leaves us with 26 days. Do you imagine for 2021 to be out of the way? Today is the 49th Sunday of the year, in the 50th week of 2021. It is the 75th day of fall, Ambassador Lisa. So we have just 16 days before that period of year you don't like very much, because you start thinking of that shovel, you start thinking of those boots and those clothing, and that clothing that you wear to go outside. All the same, that said, let us see where we are. Somewhere on the globe this Sunday, someone must be wondering, is there anything particular to remember on this 339th day of 2021? There is always something. So specific today, we think of two things to remember, celebrate this: World Soil Day and International Volunteer Day. It is also the 8th and final day of Hanukkah. I see Ambassador Lisa has it all spread out behind her. But let's go with this. World Soil Day was established in 2014 by the United Nations General Assembly. It is observed annually on December 5 and seeks to raise awareness about soil and the problems affecting it, such as and pollution. The 2021 theme for the World Soil Day is Halt Salination, Boost Soil Productivity. The day aims to promote the sustainable management of soil resources in order to ensure healthy ecosystems. It encourages people to help preserve global food supplies and food safety by improving soil health and preventing the loss of soil biodiversity. Today, as we said, is also International Volunteer Day, a day that seeks to raise awareness about the contributions of volunteers. It recognizes and celebrates the efforts of organizations and volunteers towards their communities and encourages learning with the aim of improving communication between the United Nations, the governments of the world, and volunteer-involved organizations. International Volunteer Day was established in 1985. So it's not something of yesterday, established in 1985 by the United Nations General Assembly, because volunteers are such incredible humans who are driven by their commitment to helping others. It is observed annually on this day, December 5. Volunteering, quite unlike pursuing a career, the theme of our discussion today, may bring satisfaction, but does not really put bread on the table, because you have to depend on other sources to be able to fulfill that mission. That is why discussing those paths, those avenues, and those boulevards, if you care, that provide jobs in the short term or ensure the retention of dream jobs in general is important. With employment and unemployment arithmetic hunting or bringing joy to governments the world over, identifying and pursuing rewarding career paths becomes the concern of economists, politicians, and other well-intentioned people who seek power for humanity, not just for nefarious ends. But do those in positions of trust and leadership really lay out career paths for their citizenry? Who should trace such career paths? Academic institutions, the private sector, the public service, or just anyone else in a given society? Our quick answer is that anyone can trace a career path and point potential job seekers to them. Whether in their home countries or in the diaspora, job seekers and or career changers individually and collectively have or seek paths that lead them to their dream jobs. Their hope in so doing would eventually help them not just put bread on the table, as we say, but would lead to a fulfilling life. Tracing such a path and striving for such a life is as much a personal construct as it is a commitment to accomplish a goal. To meet that commitment, job seekers and or career changers peer through newspaper advertisements for that employment organizations that have laid down or that advertise to attract prospective candidates. Generally, therefore, career paths laid out in those advertisements set candidates searching for what would be a perfect fit. But in the age of social media, the options available could abound, leaving candidates with challenging options. It becomes imperative, therefore, for potential candidates to acquaint themselves thoroughly with the options, the choices, and the pathways available out there. This demands great personal imperatives. That is, it demands great personal initiatives. What is that dream job that I seek? Am I academically, psychologically, physically prepared to meet the requirements of a particular career path which is pointing towards me or inviting me? What must I, as a potential candidate, know and be able to do to embark on a particular career path? Africaonline Media Corporation invites you to share your views on or about career paths and what candidates need to know and do in order to find the right path and the right thing to follow. On that note, we turn the microphone over to our chairperson, the chairperson of Africaonline Media Corporation, Reverend Palm, whom we will hear in a minute or in a second to welcome us all on board this live show. Ambassador Lisa, we go first to Houston, then we'll come back to you. So, Reverend Palm, can you
Thank you so much, Nia Song. We missed you profusely, profoundly, immensely, terribly last Sunday. But Ambassador Lisa,
yes, we did.
Took charge and had Sister Ruth as her assistant, and they did a phenomenal job. However, don't get used to not being here. You've been here every Sunday.
I wish it was within my power. I wish it was within my power.
No, yes. we understand. You've been here every Sunday for almost 6 years. So thank you for your faithfulness. That even after retiring as a professor of journalism, you are still giving back to Africans, not just through the show, but through other things that you do. So we appreciate you. We love you, and you are the best. And I'm happy you have a brother today. You're not by yourself today.
Yes.
Yes.
On behalf of Africaonline Media Corporation, I want to welcome our brother, Michael Bannerman, Hyde. I call you my brother because you're my brother, you know, and our sister, Prophetess Rivers, and of course, our sister who is always here, Apostle Gracie. I see Huda Ahmad. I'm not sure of the gender, so I would leave that to Ambassador Lisa to address, but I want to warmly welcome all of you. I apologize for not being able to turn on my camera. But I promise you, going forward next Sunday, you'll see me. I'm not able to turn on my camera again today.
This is 2 weeks we haven't seen your lovely face.
Yeah, you know why, but I'll be back. I'll be back next Sunday. But I want to just encourage you guys that what you're doing here is not just for fun. It's life transforming. Thousands of people are gonna watch this broadcast on Facebook, on our YouTube channel. Thousands more, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. Their lives will be transformed by your wisdom that you share, the information you share, the knowledge you share, just by you being here. So I want you to know you're making a difference. That's why we keep doing the show. We've been doing it, March will make it 6 years. Come rain, come shine, we are here. And we thank God, God brought Ambassador Lisa. But is it been, it's a year, right? Or more than a year?
I don't think it's a year yet. I think Prophetess Sylvia went to Africa during the summer. I don't think it's been a year.
No, you were here before she left.
Oh, so, yes, yes. I guess it's been a little more than a year I've been with you now. Yes,
yes, but less than a year as co-anchor. So we appreciate you, and God truly sent you, ordered your footsteps here.
Amen.
You know, for all you do, the smile and the joys that you bring, that you just light up this show. Thank you so much. And before we proceed, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. There was some young man, I won't say when, a few months ago, who begged me for your number.
Really?
Because he had a crush on you. This show is unscripted. And I told this young man, he said, if I give him your number, he will do anything for Africaonline. I told this young man, not in this lifetime. You know why? Because he was married.
Oh, definitely.
I told him you asked the wrong person. I said, not in this lifetime.
Not in this lifetime, no.
Yeah, so I don't know why that came out today, but that happened a few months ago. So I just wanted to let you know that you are very charming, and you know, some people may misinterpret that, but thank God for your life. I am going to hand back over. I am very excited about this topic. I will be weighing in later on, even though my camera is not on, but I'll hand back over to, well, actually, I'll just hand over to Ambassador Lisa, the co-host. Thank you.
I will cut her short. I will cut her short there to appreciate the multicolored decorations she brings on the show every single Sunday. She has actually repeated the background in her studio, but I appreciate it. Please, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nia-Sam. Thank you, Reverend Pam, both. I am delighted to have my sisters and my brothers join us on Africaonline today. When Reverend Pam asked me to get some guests, it was not looking very likely. I thought it was going to be a conversation between the three of us, but this morning, thank God, the Holy Spirit began to drop some people in my heart.
Awesome.
And I rushed quick text messages to them, and they agreed to be today. So I'd like to introduce first my sister, Prophetess Christy Rivers. She is a licensed clinical laboratory technologist. She's a mentor, a minister, a counselor, a mother, and a daughter. And she's going to talk to us today about her career. And I'm going to ask that, I'm going to let her go first because I know that she is studying for midterms tomorrow and she took time out of her busy schedule.
Oh, wow.
Us. I also would like to introduce Reverend Michael Bannerman Hyde. He is a business development and investment specialist. He is also a minister and an author. And well, we're gonna let him talk about some of his other things that he's doing. And I've got one more guest who just phoned me and told me that he is on the way. He needs to leave early, but he's not here. So we're gonna get him in and out. But Christy is joining us today from Long Island, New York. Welcome, Prophetess Christy. And please forgive me if I don't use titles. I try to remember that we're not in church. And this is a worldwide program. So you all know that I love you. And I'll be disrespecting you at all if that was not possible. So if I slip up and just call you Christy or Michael, charge it to my head and certainly not my heart. So Prophetess Christy, tell us about what you do as a licensed clinical laboratory technologist.
As a laboratory technologist, everybody can hear me? Good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As a laboratory technologist, I am the person that when you go to the doctor and they draw your blood and they ask you to go to the bathroom in a cup, I'm the one they bring the specimens to run the tests. I'm under what's called the allied health professionals. There are many, many, many different professions that you can go to inside the health professionals for a career that are not nurses, that are not doctors. Everybody turns towards nursing or going to your PhD or nurse practitioner or PA, but there are very many other professions within the health system that you can get careers in. So I chose to be a laboratory technologist. I have a degree, a bachelor's degree. Having a master's degree qualified me to become a supervisor. So currently I am not only, I have a dual role, I'm a licensed technologist as well as a quality assurance coordinator. So what happens in my profession and in my daily life is that I do all the checks and balances to make sure that the results your doctor is getting are quality results that are going to enable him to be able to diagnose, prognose, and treat various diseases. We are the hidden career. Nobody really knows what we do. If you say you're a lab tech, everybody thinks you're just phlebotomists, but the phlebotomists are just our front line. There's a whole gamut of people and different things that go on behind the scenes that nobody usually sees. Most laboratories don't even have windows.
Wow.
Fortunately, they're usually in the basement. Fortunately, the one that I'm in right now has windows on 3 sides. It's awesome. Anyway, so different things like running a complete blood count that checks your white cells, your red cells, your hemoglobin, your platelets. Biochemistry that checks your blood sugar, your potassium, your sodium. Microbiology, which checks if you have any types of infections, whether it's viruses, funguses, bacteria in your system. Coagulation studies to see whether you have a bleeding disorder. When you go to the doctor complaining of chest pains, there are specific cardiac markers that we will run tests on. And if there's any elevation or decrease in them, we're able to help the doctor diagnose whether you've had what's called a myocardial infarction or an actual heart attack. We're able to test to see if you've had any damage done to your heart. We do breathing tests. There are a lot of different things that we are able to test pretty much from head to toe. Now we're in, there are tests developing for saliva, sweat. So it's not always a blood test. It's not always a urine test. It's not always feces. There's very, very many different ones. But I chose this allied health because I didn't want to become a doctor. I didn't want to be directly on the front line, being involved with patient care. I wanted to be in the background investigating how to help people get better. So 80% of what your doctor does in order to diagnose you comes from my world. So, and that's not a well-known practice. Like they cannot diagnose anything without the laboratory. They can't treat without the laboratory. And so this is one of the more prominent careers in healthcare that, like I said, is behind the scenes and hidden.
I think that's very interesting because, you know, most of us who have had lab work done, we just go there, we get that lab done, and I never think about what actually goes on in the lab, what happens to my blood when it goes back there. I think about what's the movie Henrietta, The Incredible Life.
Yes.
And I'm very leery of giving my DNA, my blood, because I don't want them to be creating something. You know, I've got some tremendous blood, and then I don't even know that. You know, till years later,
Understood.
I don't even remember how the kids found out about it, but it came out. So thank you for what it is that you do, because like you said, most people just know about nursing or being a doctor or the physician's assistant, and we don't think about those other careers that are in the hospital. And I think we need to do something like this again, Reverend Penn, to bring out some of those other careers.
Of course.
Because when most young people are thinking about going to school, that's all they think about is doctor, nurse, lawyer. They don't think about the other ancillary careers that go along with helping people to do the job. And when their grades don't match, their expectations can't meet them, they get frustrated and they just go someplace else instead of finding out what their heart really desires. And like Christy says, she didn't want to be a doctor. She wanted to work in the background. And I think that's admirable. And I applaud you for working around and being a supervisor at that, making sure that everybody else, because I love it when our people are running the show. I just do. I applaud.
Can I just say something real quick, Ambassador Lisa, before we get to the next
Yes,
speaker?
Miss Pharmacologist over there.
Oh, Lord.
You didn't even mention that.
Now, you know,
Yes, that's another one.
Yeah, you know, actually, oh my God, I would, she threw me off with that, but you know, Sister Christy, I am so happy with what you just shared.
Yes.
Even
yes.
being, I was trained as a clinical pharmacist, you know, that was a long time ago. And I've trained a lot of pharmacists, compounding, you know, and different things, both here and abroad. But even as a pharmacist, I spent most of my time in the hospital, working in the hospital. The pharmacy system was networked with the lab system.
Absolutely.
Because there were certain medications that we as clinical pharmacists needed to know the lab results, lab values, before we even sent out or calculate certain dosages for the doctors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
However, even as a clinical pharmacist, I never really appreciated what you and your colleagues do until now.
Wow.
I just want you to know how important. So it's not just the patients like Ambassador Lisa, former patients, because she's not a patient anymore, and she never will be. She's in divine health. But it's not just the lay person, even the people in the hospital. I don't even think a lot of the doctors appreciate the work you guys do, because they cannot. I mean, I know on the continent, the doctors are trained because of a lack of the massive lack of infrastructure. The doctors, they can survive better without any lab results than the doctors in the Western world, you know, because they don't have that luxury, you know. But I don't even think the doctors here truly appreciate you guys and know the value, or even think about the value of what you guys contribute to the profession. So I just wanted to jump in and say we appreciate you, and hopefully
thank you.
More of our like somebody like me, I cannot stand blood. Even after pharmacy school, I got admitted into Baylor College of Medicine here in Houston, but I just can't stand blood. I don't even watch it on television. So how can you be a doctor without being able to watch blood? I mean, to stand blood. So you choose different career pathways, but you're still helping patients. And I know you said you didn't want to be in the front line. You are actually in the front line, more in the front line than some of the people and the doctors, because you are the one handling the specimens.
Yes.
So that's where the disease is. You know, so you are actually in the front line. You are exposed to more danger than some people. So I just wanted to jump in and appreciate you. I'll go back to Ambassador Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Reverend Pam, for adding that. Because, you know, we do know that I know that there's a National Nurses Week, I believe, but you don't hear about the records technology or the people who keep the records or the lab techs. And you're right, they are the key people. They are the most important, because if they get it wrong, then your doctor's going to prescribe you the wrong medication.
Exactly. And
then where are you? Yep. You're going to end up, and they pay so much in medical malpractice when it's really not even their responsibility or their fault. Am I correct? Because it's the people who give them the results of the test. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know that she's going to have to jump off, and I know that she's studying for our finals, but we're only going to be here until 5:30, and I'm going to pray that that you do extremely, extremely well.
Thank you.
She will. She's going to
and that you will be able. Yeah, she's going to do extremely well, because she's not only going to be supervisor, she's going to be the manager next.
No, I am declaring that she's going to own her own lab.
Okay.
Come on.
And hire people.
The women in the men of God have spoken. She's going to own her own lab, and can you send my results up to Rivers lab up there in Staten Island? I'll take him up there if you don't mind. And results. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Abundant blessings, everybody, and happy holidays.
Thank you. So same to you. Before you run, does anyone have any questions or comments? Because I don't leave, and we don't want to interrupt her.
Yeah, I had one quick question for her before she leaves.
Yes.
What would be her advice to young people who are out there wondering whether to go left, right, or center, or remain standing where they are? How should they face the future by looking for careers that are rewarding to them?
First of all, I would tell them to, literally, I would tell them to go to a community college and get your basics, because I personally just think it is absurd to ask an 18-year-old what they want to do for the rest of their life. So go to college, go to junior college, get your basics, or go to a trade school. Do something that you like first.
Okay.
Do something that you like first. Then, go to trade school, go to college. And in that time frame, you get to know who you are. You get to know, what you like and what you don't like. You kind of step away from the pressures of what my parents want me to be and how my parents want me to go. And in that time frame, you can then choose which way you want to go from when you've accomplished those things. And at the same time, have some money in your pocket.
Yes. I totally agree. I never believed any child should go off to college straight from their parents' house. I believe they should always do their 2 years of community college. That gives them a chance to step into adulthood a little bit, get that practice of studying on their own before we ship our kids off to some school to be an adult. And that's why they all end up, doing party. And most of them end up coming back home and going to the local school when they went off to HBC, and they end up graduating from the school at home that they didn't want to go to. They end up graduating from DeVry online, but we have prepared them for adulthood. So thank you so much, Prophetess Christy, for your advice.
Thank you.
Our next guest also has to run. He is a very, very busy person. He was running in from one place and running back out. And I would like to introduce to everyone Lieutenant Keishan Hickman, who is the commanding officer of the NYPD Information Technology Bureau of Investigation Division. I'm sorry, I should have said Information Technology Bureau of Investigation Division of the NYPD. Welcome, Lieutenant Keishan, to
good afternoon.
Online.
Good afternoon. How are you hearing me?
We're hearing you just fine.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we are so excited that you took time out of your busy schedule as well to come. So talk to us about the NYPD. You are a police officer in one of the biggest cities in the entire country.
Well, I want to thank you also for...
It's an active,
No, I just want to, before I interrupt, I just want to thank you for brightening my day every day.
Oh, thank you so much.
I don't know if everybody knows this about you, but you send out some of the best inspirational things that really cause me to pause each day and just reflect on why we wake up in the morning and why we do things and what's important and what we do has a purpose, and I appreciate that every single day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing. Okay. For every one person who says, "Stop sending me those. This too much." I get 3 or 4 people who tell me they're such a blessing, they're encouraging, so happy. And when I miss one day, they be like, "Are you okay? We didn't get out." One of my I wasn't able to pray yesterday because I didn't get my inspiration to know how to pray, and so thank you for that word as well.
So I just wanted to have everybody sort of lean into their cameras and listen to that. So yes, I love what I do. I love the police department. I've been a member of law enforcement for 20 years. And really, I can count the number of bad days on one hand.
Wow.
When my whole adult life. So, from age 22 to the present, I have seen 9/11. I've seen the Republican National Convention. I'll go in chronological order. The Republican National Convention was very violent back then. I was a rookie cop. The blackout of 2003, Occupy Wall Street. I can just take you through a chronology of my career and just, look upon what we have now with peaceful and non-peaceful protests, things that are occurring or that have occurred in Washington, D.C., political arguments, defunding the police, bail reform, criminal justice reform, all of the things that sort of, when you sit in my chair, work against us, we persevere. And what I think at this point and at this juncture need to do is reimagine policing from a community policing perspective, and neighborhood policing. I worked for many years doing a lot of enforcement, engaging in street encounters with people that were committing some of the most direst incidents known to humankind. And it's hard not to take that over to your house or even to your dreams when you go to sleep at night. So when you think about people that we want to elicit into this great career that we call law enforcement, I want to just not speak solely on my job. I want to speak solely on law enforcement as a whole.
Awesome.
Because there are so many jobs that need people, certainly minorities, to help reimagine policing. We don't know what policing is looking like, or is going to look like when we see what our next mayor is in New York City, when we see what our next president is going to be. We don't know what it's going to look like, but what we should know is what our commitment is to public service and public safety. Mm-hmm. So COVID really did a number on us, right? We lost 6% of workers in general.
Oh, right? Wow.
Right?
Oh my God.
Police departments only lost 1%. However, it's been decreasing at a decreasing rate for many years. Yeah. And qualified candidates, lowering the standards. And I look at places like Buffalo, like I hope nobody's from Buffalo because I'm getting ready to announce Buffalo. Buffalo lowered the standards. And one of the reasons they said they were lowering the standards is because they couldn't attract minority candidates with 2-year degrees. So, I've always been a person that speaks to the fact that if you lower the standards so that minority people can get in, that's discrimination in and of itself. And
yes.
And I think we should be encouraging people like the person who before me. Please just remind me her name.
Reverend.
Encouraging people, regardless where you go to community college, get your degree, and now you're armed with that significant platform so that you can make your own decisions and unlock the doors that might have been closed. We're encouraging. I mean, Buffalo, we're lowering the standards for police officers because we can't get minorities, and we're going to make it a GED.
Wow.
That's who we have policing. I mean, it's a little bit heart-wrenching.
Yes.
When I see those types of things. So when I look at policing and when I look at some of the jobs that are out there, and I want to just sort of impress upon you that policing is not the only thing in law enforcement, right? There's corrections. There is probation, parole. There is forensic death investigations, where you come in and be a crime scene investigator. Then we have all types of federal jobs, which really, unbeknownst to a lot of folks, and I think if I knew now what I knew, what I knew then, which wasn't much, I probably would have changed careers. I mean, I didn't know that in order to get into the FBI or DEA, there's no exam. I had to sit down at a Saturday morning and take an exam for a police officer. So there's no exam to get into the DEA or the FBI. It's simply a background investigation and a physical.
Really? Wow.
So those types of things are very, very simple to do if you are squeaky clean and if you're in shape, and that's it. No tests. So we have other factors that are seemingly unrelated to criminal justice that have played a role in sort of the increase of crime throughout. And we need good people out there to come in and police our own neighborhoods.
Yes.
Part of the problem is some of the members of these communities that need the police so much don't have that ability to reach out and touch somebody that's sort of tangible to them. And that's what I'd like to think I've been for so many years, coming through the ranks of the police department. But there really, there needs to be social safety nets and school programs and things that are in place so that skyrocketing gun sales in violent and in minority neighborhoods that have been deemed violent don't continue to occur. George Floyd happens, and that's considered one of these violent acts. I consider it a violent act. I've been a police officer. I've made thousands of arrests, thousands, over the last 20 years. I did probably 16 years of patrol. I've never had to choke anybody to death. I've never had to put my foot on anybody's.
Thank God.
I don't know that I can even invent a scenario where that's feasible. And I don't hopefully none of my bosses are watching this, but
where is the truth? You're speaking the truth.
I just think that now is our opportunity before this happens again to reimagine policing, to reimagine community-driven violence prevention programs, and stuff that we can sort of experiment with to see what works and what doesn't. Because what works in Brownsville, Brooklyn may not work in St. Anne's area of the South Bronx or even Harlem, where all places that I've worked over the years. But we need to sort of have people, in terms of an outreach, to really devote to handling issues such as mental health, such as such as response teams going to 911 calls and really examining what resources do we have in our pocket to offer someone, what resources do we need. Some of these mental health calls, I deal with them. We have programs in place and we dispatch mental health counselors, and it comes back as a person that doesn't want, or the mental health worker doesn't, or is too afraid to go into the neighborhoods. So it's a lack of training on their part. And I think that when we have our new administration, we have our transition, our workforce and our work product is going to be in better hands.
Awesome.
Very good. Thank you.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes, Reverend Pam has a question. Yes.
Lieutenant Hickman, thank you for what you do.
Thank you
my dad, my beloved dad of blessed memory, was a police officer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and he went from being a police officer to becoming what they call here a district attorney or a prosecutor, and he retired as a police chief. So I respect police people. I was a daddy's girl, so I used to follow him to the station, and but when there's some tough cases, he'll put me in a different room so I don't hear the cases. But so I do appreciate what you guys do. And policing in this country is way, way different than back there. The lives of police officers here, you leave the house, your spouse don't know if you're coming back home. My question to you is, for our young people listening, would you advise them? I mean, your experience have been great, and the police department, because you can only count the bad days in one hand. Some people can only count the good days in one hand. So what would you advise our young people about joining the force? And then the other thing, I posted it on the chat box, I was kind of a bit disappointed that they are lowering the eligibility criteria, but then if you keep it high, you're not gonna get people, period. So I'm asking you two questions. One, why should any young African-American or Black person join the police force in this day and age after what we've seen with the police and our community? That's the first question. The second question is, can those police departments that are lowering the standards mandate those new recruits to earn at least an associate degree within maybe 2 to 3 years of being employed? So those are the two questions I have for you.
So I'll say this, I'll start out. I mean, we are, in my opinion, and my very humble opinion, we're holding this together with duct tape and chewing gum at this point. And I think we do. We should encourage people to have mentors, like you folks in this room, to have mentors in the profession that they are just even vaguely and remotely interested in. Do I think hiring minority officers equates to reduction of violence? No, absolutely not. Even hiring the right minority officers equating to a reduction of violence? Absolutely not. I think the racial makeup of the police department should be indicative of where we are policing.
Awesome.
The identifiable traits. Whereas, when I'm out there and a quick story, I did a protest about over the summer, and I was there. I was in my white shirt. I was looking like the boss, and everyone and the crowd, everyone there looked very, very similar to me and everyone else in this room, started to verbally attack me, telling me how there was, and my son is in the room. I'm sure you see Keishan Jr. He's reluctant to show his face, but
I want to see his face later, Keishan.
You don't want to. I met Ms. Parks. I know you are his biggest fan, and he appreciates you as well. But when I look at this group of people who were protesting, albeit very peacefully, but they got verbally violent in that they wanted me to find another way to feed my family. They wanted me to, I was called every...
Are you kidding me?
Every name that I could imagine. There's Keishan Jr.
He is such a good-looking brother. Hi, Keishan Jr.
Good to see you.
So I'm glad he's here to hear this story, because, I think my interaction with the crowds of protesters really spoke to what matters is the way that I felt, at least when I was there, was, wow, I can't believe that I'm the one that's being attacked here. Right? And I didn't see anyone else in a white shirt that looked like me anywhere out there. And none of them were attacked. That was number one. And number two was the fact that my response to them was, well, how do you expect to have recruiting efforts and to bring in African American? There might be one person in this crowd that says, you know what, I've always thought about hey, I can't be, whatever the motivation is, I can't beat them, join them. I don't know what to do. With my life, I may want to be a police officer. But now they see me, the guy in charge, being violently, verbally attacked by you. What would they want to come here?
Right.
And subject themselves to the same thing. So I think that to answer your question, no, hiring more
minorities.
Is that going to help crime? I don't think so. There's 700,000 people that call themselves law enforcement, police officers per se in the United States. With a Baltimore, Maryland, that's 63% Black, their police department doesn't reflect their makeup or their demographic. Philadelphia, to me is needs some strict intervention in their criminal activity and their public safety. So becoming blue is not solving the problem when blue is bad, and when the perceptions have made bad things. So the long-term solutions is we need to kind of have more training and stop these senseless incidents where we are embarrassing ourselves. And officers of color like myself are not exempt from this process. We just have to increase our quality overall. So I hope that answers your inquiry.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question from Ambassador Gracie.
Hi there. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon,
Hi.
Reverend Pam. Good afternoon, Ambassador Lisa and Niasam. It's good to see you guys today. And thank you so much, Lieutenant Hickman, for being with us today. My question, so I too am the daughter of a retired cop, retired officer, right in Philadelphia. My dad was a Philadelphia police officer. Of course, he's been retired for many years now, but that was what he did. And so I have my question is more on the mental health side. And so my question to you is, how many or what percentage do you think does the police department recruit members of the military? And secondly, have there been or are there measures being taken for officers to have training in how to recognize PTSD and those kinds of disorders in their work? Now, I recognize, let me just preface this by saying, I recognize that, in certain violent situations, there may just not be time, to evaluate whether somebody is, a violent aggressor versus somebody who's got, some mental health issues in play. And you don't always have time to make those decisions, but I do think it would be a worthwhile pursuit for there to be training, that officers be trained to recognize certain things, because there are people who have been killed because there's something wrong with them. You know what I mean? And not because, they were a criminal, so to speak. So if you could just speak to that.
Yes, ma'am. I'll say this. Thank you, your father, for his service. I put in the chat just before I dive into your questions deeply. I put into the chat an essay that I challenged my own son, who you just saw, to read, and it's something that I never had to subject myself to, but it's an essay by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar called "Black Cop's Kid." And I could not offer him any perspective on how to be a Black cop's kid, but I found somebody who could, which was one of his, and he's a big basketball fan, so he really enjoyed the nexus between one of his heroes and someone and a situation that he's personally involved in. So I just wanted to put that in the chat and put that in the group so that you can recognize that and pass that on. To address your specific inquiries with regard to mental health and what the police are doing, we are on stage every single day. We're waiting, for the next body camera video. We're waiting for, this is a job that everybody can do until it's time to do it. So there's a lot being asked of the police and that's why, in my perception or my opinion, that the crime and disorder has, that's the motivation, not we're hiring the wrong cops, or not that we're hiring there's a lot being asked of us. There's too much being asked of us. We have ill and mental health. So are we trained to deal with mental health? Yes. Are we trained to now dispatch mental health professionals as opposed to police officers? Yes. If they go, or if they feel that the call for service meets the criteria, we're going to send a mental health professional. We will. However, if we don't, and we go, and now we feel it's a situation that, man, this would have been really helpful if we had a mental health professional here, we can't leave. So those are like the rules aren't in our favor.
I understand.
And so, yes, do I have PTSD? Absolutely. 100%. I don't even need to train anybody to know. I have zero training. I can tell you right now that there are violent incidents that I've responded to, that I have been involved in over the course of the last 20 years of me. 17 of the last 20 years I worked in the Bronx in various ranks. Have I been shot at? Absolutely. Have I pulled knives off of people? 100%. Have I had many near-death experiences that I know about? Yes. Have I had many that I don't know about? Absolutely. Have I walked up to a car and maybe I'm talking to what I feel is a nice gentleman, and he throws a gun under the seat without me knowing it, and I give him a ticket and he moves on his way? 100%. Could that have happened? Yes. So it's the scene. It's both the seen and the unseen at this point.
I see.
Okay, so do I have, me personally, and I can't, I mean, there are 32 plus thousand people like me that call themselves New York City police officers out there. I can only speak for myself. Do I have PTSD? 100%. No doubt in my mind.
Wow.
How do I treat it? How do I mean, I'm not a fall down drunk. I'm not a, I don't use misplaced aggression, but
you got a praying wife at home and a wonderful family. That's what
I hope so.
Parents. that is what helps you.
My son and my mother who is on here as well. Both of them are my only inspirations at this point. And we have to persevere because there is more negative than positive at times. But we have to sort of accentuate those positive aspects of life and just be happy, and serve the community. That's it.
That you made it home.
I don't know if there's any other questions.
Thank you, Lieutenant Hickman. This is Asonglefac, one of the co-hosts. Reverend, Ambassador Lisa, can I go ahead with asking the question? Because I wanted to extend this conversation to all of us by focusing first on what the lieutenant has said and bringing in the aspect of family. And then I would like for Reverend Michael to start the conversation at this point. What went wrong with family upbringing? Is that contributing to some of the things we're seeing on our streets today? So I would like for Reverend Michael to start, then we'll go back to Lieutenant Hickman.
Wait, Lieutenant has to leave. He's already.
Okay.
He's already 10 minutes past.
It's fine. I'm enjoying
work
it.
related. We don't want him fired.
Oh, okay.
No, he cannot be fired. He'll be promoted for being on this show.
Amen.
I love this show.
Yes.
You go ahead, Reverend Michael.
Feel free to join us any Sunday.
I was told I haven't smiled today, so I want to make sure that I smile for everybody here.
Oh yes, you are smiling. Smiling very well.
The general police department.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I have to smile in pictures. I have to smile when I'm, doing these types of things, and I appreciate everybody. Obviously your show, but I'll take any last minute questions, and I'm going to put my email address into the chat box.
Yes, and your advice. Well, did you give us your advice on? I think you did already.
Family upbringing.
Yeah.
And
listen, again, ask me about crime, ask me about disorder and the theory and the zero tolerance theory. This family upbringing, the
blue code. Let's talk about the blue code.
This is there's a lot being asked of the police. I think there's more being asked of me. I have family upbringing, and yes, of course, there's something called classical conditioning in psychology where they ring the bell and the dog comes running. So the two competing theories of crime are social learning theory and rational choice theory. Social learning theory is, how you are raised and who you are brought up around. Does that rub off on you? Rational choice theory, there are two competing theories. Rational choice theory involves, if you can tell, I'm a professor of criminal justice for many years. Rational choice theory involves like the concept of you walking into Walmart and seeing if there's cameras around, and you're looking around and seeing if that's a rational choice. Am I going to get caught? So those are the two things. It's called rational choice. Those are the two.
Rational choice. Okay.
Those are the two things that really compete when it comes to theory of crime, and it's an interesting dichotomy. I am on the side of the fence that yes, the social learning theory does have distinct value in predicting. However, there are hundreds of thousands of success stories. My mother was talking about today and I don't know if my mom is still on here, but my mother's talking today about a guy named Mr. Fletcher, who he and his brother, you probably are familiar with his songs. He was part of a group called Houdini, and Houdini was one of the members of a group called Ecstasy. Oh no, sorry, he was Ecstasy, and the group was called Houdini. This is a little bit before my time, a little bit. And he and his brother grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Doesn't get worse than that. But his brother is a very, very successful.
What happened?
No, we didn't lose you. We are approaching.
No, let him finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about some pitfalls to the rational choice theory versus the social learning theory. So he and his brother are very, very successful. He was a brilliant musical genius, and his brother is a medical doctor, probably one of the most renowned in our area. Dr. Douglas Fletcher and his brother, very successful men that came from humble beginnings. So that is an outlier. They are outliers when it comes to the social learning theory, right? Because for all intents and purposes, you grow up in Brownsville, you're going to be criminals. That's right. How some cops treat people, but that's not how we need to treat people. So that's my piece on that.
Wow, thank you.
I guess
we appreciate you.
Is there an invitation? There's some sort of invitation here. I don't know.
Yes, we're going to have you back.
We want you back.
When we talk about policing or some other related topics.
Listen, I'm certainly amenable to whatever. Ms. Parks, I think it was about 3 hours ago that she asked me, and this is one of these things. If you build it, I will come. So
Amen.
You guys are great people, and I love
Thank you.
what you do. It's a great organization. And you have my seal of appreciation for you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are at the top of the hour. And we
Okay.
know that at the top of the hour, we have our national, not our national, but we have Africaonline theme song. Enjoy.
All right. Enjoy. Thank you so much.
Africans for Africa, Africans, Africans for Africa, Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa, Africans, Africans for Africa, Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us all unite behind Africaonline Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey. Africans, Africans for Africa, Africans, Africans for Africa, Africans, Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does. To identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. Education for everyone. If we believe prosperity for Africans, if we believe medical facilitation for Africans, if we believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Jump on the Africaonline Miracle Jet. Don't be left behind. Stand Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. We are writing our own story. The truth, and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. Africans own Africa. That is our anthem. Ambassador Lisa loves it so much, you know, and we own full rights to that song. So I think Nia Song had a question for Brother Michael, who has been patiently listening from the beginning.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And my question has to do with family upbringing. What went wrong with our families that we're having these things today, whereas in the good old days, they weren't as prevalent as they are today? So did we go wrong, we who are parents today, what did we do wrong to have things go off or out of hand?
So,
Mike?
So let me introduce Michael, and he can answer to your question and what it is that he is going to share. I'd like to introduce Reverend Michael Bannerman Hyde, as I said earlier, who is a business development and investment specialist, an ordained minister, and an author. And he will talk about his career, and he will also answer the question about where did we go wrong, or if we went wrong.
Ambassador Lisa, one second, please, before you introduce our brother.
Oh, yes.
Who's been very patient.
Yes.
I think I got distracted, did not announce the next topic, but I think—
And I didn't do the commercial. Sorry.
I think Reverend Michael will be a perfect guest for next week, if he's available. I'm not putting him on the spot, but we will be talking as a sequel to this topic today. We'll be talking about entrepreneurs and self-employed people, employment, because there are people that are doing things that have nothing to do with their career paths, you know, or pathways. But next week, we're going to be talking about employment, self-employment, entrepreneurs. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. So you can go ahead and Ambassador Lisa, I just wanted to mention it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I also jumped ahead because Nia Sum is so ready to get that question out that really has nothing to do with it. But I forgot to do the announcement. Listen, Africaonline has an ongoing fundraiser called Operation Borehole 55. It is our desire to see a borehole put in every country on the continent of Africa so that our people, our daughters, our sons can get clean drinking water. There'll be running water in the medical facilities. So if you desire to sew in, give a donation, any amount of dollar, pound, rand, sterling, whatever, all donations go towards the borehole project. There's no administrative fees taken out. Visit us on www.africaonlinetv.org. You will see the donation, or I think it's, our activities, but you will see Operation Borehole there, and you can make a donation. You can make a one-time donation. You can consider making a monthly donation. One of our guests made a monthly donation. She committed herself to a year.
Exactly.
Donating for a solid year towards our borehole project. And that is all I'm going to say. Again, you can visit online at www.africaonlinetv.org to make a donation. And you can also visit any of our clips on YouTube, Africaonline, and see the countries that have submitted their videos for a need for boreholes. And you also find some of us who have done our commercials for the borehole project as well.
On Facebook, yeah.
Thank you for your time. That is our small commercial. And now, Reverend Michael Bannerman, who has been here patiently.
I know.
To talk, and I so appreciate him because I got him this morning before church as well. Welcome, Michael, to Africaonline. Let's talk about you and what you are doing.
Thank you so very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I have to continue to just be familiar with your names. So forgive me if I don't mention the names correctly. But yes, I have been trying to deal with Africa and then the diaspora, and then all the in-between, the bridges between how we can transition from complaining to campaigning, so that at least we can just present ourselves for effective investment. I think the policies that have been set in terms of Africa is that we are always in the throes of begging and trying to win people without presenting ourselves, in a way where we can be competitive. Malaysia is no different from Africa when they started. Indonesia is no different from Africa when they started. But I think the collective will of the people are what is lacking with the continents, as diverse as we are, culturally, tribally, language-wise, and everything else politically, and then everything else that we do. My background is in business development. In fact, I did international marketing. That's what, when I was young, I was so excited about it because I was raised in a family where my mother was a seamstress and everybody else did something economically to live on. And so my mindset was that I don't think we have to limit ourselves. So I went to business school, and then getting out there, marketing was my fascination because it was like taking something, whatever it is, and then actually branding it or preparing it, and we could see the women who could just prepare tiger nuts. Tiger nuts, and for Africans, it's a aphrodisiac. But some people were able to just prepare tiger nuts in a way that they put in like the milk, and then they would sell it, and then from house to house. Our mothers were, indigenous business people. Mm-hmm. They took basic things, and at least to their level, were able to just sell it and then gain money. But growing up, my thought was that everything African has can make African great. So what is preventing us from trying to just market ourselves? And as I grew up, and then I got into ministry, was the last thing anyway for me to get into until I got to London, when my bishop just looked at me, and then she said to my ex-wife, "Hey, you will be just very good for ministry." I said, "Okay, you're kidding." My goal and my aim in life is to empower people. I told him that. I said, where I cannot see empowerment, I cannot see a ministry that is geared toward lifting the least of these and then bringing them to where they need to be to just feel like God loves them equally. I think that is not fulfilling the mission of Jesus Christ, which I've studied a lot. So I just kept on trying to balance my bivocational activities. Wherever there's ministry, I believe ministry should respond to the social needs of people. Some people want to ignore that, but Jesus did that. He took the hungry and fed them and gave them a takeaway for them to take home. I think, so I became a little bit disgruntled with the way church was being built, prying on the poverty of the people in Africa, trying to just let them sing and dance the whole day and giving offering with people that nobody's investing in them. So I would just consider myself almost like a spiritual rebel. I don't think it is fine, but I just couldn't do that without also bringing my skill set into the forefront of trying to just hone in on empowerment. Everybody sleeps, and everybody has dreams, and then the dreams, some of them are very poignant and then clear, but each person wants to be better of himself. Even if you come through a family that were poor, you wanted to be a better reflection of that family. But many people also die, I know, with their dreams and then their aspiration buried in them, whether they are academia or professionals. everything balanced to economics. You go to school, you pursue a career path because you want to get paid to just offer your service. We have non-profits. Non-profits also just campaign for donations. So the world that we live in, the reality being told, everything hovers about trying to just build what nowadays they call it social impact development. There are things that are purely venture capital, but there are things that can empower the society. So my philosophy of life, even in ministry, is that I look at the areas where people can be lifted up and people can be empowered. And God does not hate investment. God does not hate entrepreneurship. God does not hate profits. God does not hate anything that will empower and then give people a sense of being, a sense of well-being, whereby they can also cater for their families, their children, and then be able to just, Peter saw something greater than his fishing. That's why he cast the net aside. Because they all have been struggling as middle-level fishermen until somebody came around, hey, I can make you just better than what you did. But he didn't understand it at first. But what I'm trying to just present in my background as a business development person is that Christians should be the ones dominating the world of business, the world of economics, the world of investment, so that other people can come to their light. But it's the reverse. We actually go trying to just put a place to the world to give us money so that we can do our programs. Having been invited to forums from Ivory Coast, I was blessed because of the work that I did there. If anybody knows the late Marion Barry, the late, I used to know him. So one of the time I came to the United States, I spoke to him. I said, you know what, the mayors of Abidjan, the mayors of Ivory Coast, they don't know how to even generate funds. Everything is about the central government. So that when the government comes, he has to manipulate all the mayors. If you are not in their party, you don't get development. So can you just mobilize some mayors so that they can come and teach them how to generate funds locally? And then Leo Barry, may his soul rest in peace, came in when we were aware. We had about 10 mayors, African-American mayors, including the one, Mike Moriah also came, Mayor Webb, and they came to Abidjan. We organized a 2-day conference for about 75 mayors. And that is where I got recognized because number one, I'm a Ghanaian. I come from Ghana. But
yeah, I could tell. I picked that up.
Yes.
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you about that when you started speaking.
Yes, I'm from Ghana.
So this is part of your business development. This is your business development and marketing. This is how you got your name out here.
Yes. So the point is that the conference was televised, and they started asking who are the organizers behind this movement, and we have formed a non-profit organization. Apart from, and they didn't know about the church part of it because that was not what I took into there. I just saw that kind of need. And I spoke to 1 or 2 mayors who were my friends. One of them was in my church. And then I just said, okay, no, I've been coming to the United States a lot. That time I used to come for revival. I said, you guys need to organize yourselves. I'll bring people who really are tested. They know what they are doing. And they are one of us. When I say one of us, they are Black people who are ascending into becoming mayors. They know how to budget. They know how to raise funds. So everything went well. Then along the line, I started organizing internationally. I brought I came here and I invited about 34-member delegation headed by the former First Lady, Babu.
Before you go into all of that, because you know what, this is really more of a topic for being entrepreneurial, self-employed.
Next week.
Yeah, we're really interested here this week in you being an investment specialist. How do somebody pick that career? How does someone go into being an investment specialist? How does someone go into being a business development? What is all of that about?
Okay. I was building up to that point, But let me just cross over.
I'm sorry. Our time is running.
Let me really specifically address your issue, because I wanted to introduce myself by why this is something that I'm excited about, because both the minority community and then especially the diasporans, the Africans in diaspora, they have no idea where the money is in the United States.
Yeah.
But no matter who you are, what you are, when you come to a country, you have to know where the resources are. So we come here as workers, we go to universities, we build our careers, and then we are waiting for these people to employ us.
Yes.
And then when the employment is not there, see, the lady who came and spoke about the laboratory technicians, my daughter in England, right? She graduated as a radiology diagnostic, which is a 4-year course. But the joy is that I think she has the father's genes. So because we have been talking, and she's now writing books to do consultation, I say, Lisa, don't depend upon your own paycheck, because first of all, you are a Black girl with a very high profile, profession. You can be discriminated against, and of course, like a father, yeah, she did. So she has to leave the work, and then God gave me a better work, and now she's training, and she's doing an online course to just prepare those who are just going to take their exams. Coming back to what my career path is, all these things have prepared me to think when I decided to live in the Ivory Coast, with the success of the things that I've done trying to empower Africans and then governments in terms of their policies and engagement and the things that really draw it backwards. I think that if anybody has any idea that is sound right now, and then the idea is burning in your heart, first of all, before an investor looks at what even you have, it has to be salient, presented in a way that is professional, and it has to solve a problem. See, there are basic things that really the society that we are living in need. Wherever there's a problem, there's a solution. And those who are able to just figure out what the solutions are those who are the thought leaders. They call them thought leaders. So those who are able to just move ahead and present a solution, and then they package the solution so that you go and buy the solution to solve your problem. Mm-hmm. So when I'm talking about even ministry, I did design a church plan for a pastor of mine, and I'm building a model of you don't have to depend upon the offering. The offering should be about 40% of your income. This is what you need to do to generate money into your church. There's no sin about that. Do a genuine attachment of something so that when the poor people come, just like Malachi says, there will be food in the house. Mm-hmm. So my background is that wherever there's an idea and the idea is sound, money can chase that idea and you get somebody who is going to invest in your idea. But you need somebody who is going to polish your idea, and then just find out the key success index, as they call it, and also what problem is your idea going to solve?
What problem is your idea going to solve?
Once you're able to determine that, then comes into, okay, how do you package it so that it will be appealing? These are all aesthetic. Well, I was talking to one of my brothers, and then he said, Brother Michael, you know that if you are going to the next town, the road is asphalt. You have SUV running on, you have Mercedes running on, you have Bentley running on, but they're all running on 4 tires. Then we best start laughing. That means some may just run with a speed car. Some will run with a SUV, expensive car. Some will run with a Kia. But everybody will arrive at their destination at a point. What I'm trying to say is that when you have an idea, everything else is aesthetic. An expensive car is expensive because of how they are presented it. it doesn't mean that you cannot just get free from point A to point B. Mercedes will go from point A to point B, but it's expensive. You know, you have to put in more gas. You have to really service it more, but it will get you there. Whereas, you know, a Mini will also get you there. You know, you pay less, but if you are patient, you get you there. Business development concept is not a strange subject. You know, business schools teach a whole lot of concept, but when they come out, there's always a process to implementation. How do I package my idea in a way where somebody might look at it and say, man, what do you need? How much do I have to put in? How much are you going to give me so that I can be part of this beautiful thing? So wow. I don't know what I'm answering your questions. My background is that if you can just tell me in 5 or 10 minutes what your dreams and aspirations are, I can put it together and then let you be in front of an investor like Shark Tank. People go there always, you know. And apart from the show aspect of it, some people go out of there, they don't win, they don't get investment, and they go out there and they make money, and then the Shark Tank people come come after them.
Yes.
Ambassador Lisa, I will definitely be getting his number from you because I need to tell him my ideas.
Okay.
But we have Dr. Ogoji on the line.
Wait. Yes, we do. Wait, Reverend Michael, seriously. Reverend Michael, can we please have you? Wait a minute. Who's talking? Somebody's Facebook is talking, I think.
No, it's from your end. Nobody else is talking. Well, we definitely need him next Sunday. So let's.
Reverend, wait a minute. I don't think that's mine. Looks like my.
We're not hearing anything.
Just go ahead.
I'm not talking. You said I should wait, so I'm quiet.
Yeah, it's waiting. So, Reverend Pam, did you want us to bring in Dr. Ogoji before we go back to Reverend Michael?
No, wait, Ambassador Lisa, you are muted. Yeah, but let her finish. Ambassador Lisa, you are muted.
You are muted.
I think that's my Facebook.
Okay, go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
I was saying, I think that I'm muted because I think that's my Facebook that's talking that won't let me get onto Facebook to mute the mic. And stop talking. Reverend Michael, we definitely be back next week when we're doing entrepreneurship, please. At this time, we have our chief medical examiner, we have our chief.
Oh my God. You see what Facebook has done to you? Facebook has distracted you.
Yes, I'm trying to get it to stop talking. And I don't know where in the world Reverend Dr. Goji is, but we want to hear from him. And we are rounding out the time. I'm sure Reverend Pam will extend the time just a little bit.
No, we're going to extend it, briefly. I already
okay. Dr. Goji.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Goji. Welcome again.
Thank you very much. Career path is a very, very important topic because, as you get to the age of 18, thinking about college, you have all these things in your mind. What are you going to do? In fact, from experience, everybody wants to be a police officer, a firefighter, or maybe a doctor as a baby. They see fighter. My kids all want to be firefighter when they were young, 2 and 3 years old. Police officer, astronaut. So as you get older, now the teenagers want to be gamers. My son doesn't stop telling me how you can make so much money from Roblox. If you design a game and people play it, you become a millionaire. Daddy, can I play more Roblox so that I can make money from Roblox?
I am telling you, that is the truth. I am telling you, they are making millions per game.
That's true.
Take your children serious.
Wow.
I believe them. I'm coming. Then from Roblox, now everybody wants to be a soccer player, a basketball player, a football player, or sort of athletics. So in America, let the children dream and dream and dream and dream.
Yes.
Okay? The sky is the limit. But you must redirect them because for every 1 million who want to be a professional American football player, only about 5 per million. I don't know the statistics. Same thing. For you to make it big in Roblox, you must design a game that the whole world is playing. You become a millionaire. So what am I saying? You can go to college, finish college as a get a scholarship to play basketball in college. End of college year, you don't get drafted at college. What are you going to do? So you must broaden your career, dream and work towards that goal. But think broadly. I want to be a soccer player. I'll be a soccer player, but I'll take my studies serious so that I can do other things. So that's what's going on. So as we keep growing up now, by the time we finish college, we all study different courses, mathematics, English, social studies, history. In these days and age, when you finish your first degree, you just have to advance to master's and PhD if you study something general. Because as a Black man, or as an African man, they will give a job to somebody to teach. You can see a white man teaching with first degree in a university, but you have to have a PhD to compete. I have a couple of my colleagues here who have PhD that are teaching in high school. Yes. I have a Ghanaian, I have a Liberian. So you have to think broad. So as people go further, when I was in the university in Rochester, New York, I saw so many of our African brothers, including our Black brothers and sisters, who have studied various degrees in the university. They came and took an advantage of the one-year advanced program in nursing. Because in the New York State, when you have a first degree in something, you don't get a job in that area, and you don't want to do business, I'm coming to business. You don't want to go into business, you apply for job, you end up driving cab, they come and do one-year program again to nursing. That happens a lot. In fact, so many schools have people come and do one-year program and end up in nursing because for us immigrants, I'm not saying everybody should be in healthcare. For us immigrants, healthcare job is more available to you than the other type of job. Yeah, if you're a nurse, you can always get a job. That will pay you minimum of $60,000 if you want to work decently. If you want to go crazy like some of our sisters, you make more, but that's something different. So when choosing a career, you should look at broadly what you want to do. And if you want to go into business, the sky's the limit. Business, produce something, solve a human problem, you make money. That's a good way to go. As long as you are disciplined, you know that business has input, output. You buy, you sell. This is a business capital, don't eat into it. And they must build a good credit in this part of the world to access the funds to start a business. For you to start a business in America, you need capital. If I want to open a medical practice right now, I need maybe $1 million to get a building, buy the equipment. Nobody will give it to me unless I have the credit history, unless I have the good background. So career path for us Africans, we dream, we go to all other aspects. When the chips are down, we fall down to business, we fall down to career to end up being a study up to PhD, to those special courses. If you study mathematics, for instance, or sciences, they are highly needed. Go and study English, nothing wrong, English language, don't get me wrong. As an African man, study English to PhD, you have to break through. You must have a way to break through to become a professor of English in a renowned university where if you speak, people will listen to you. But we study mathematics.
You're very right there, Dr. Ogochi, because they tell you that your accent is from another continent or from another globe.
Thank you. So, but we study mathematics, they need you. I have an accent, I have a thick one, I have job offer every day.
Really? That's because you're good at what you do.
So they need me. Then going back to career, I'm a medical doctor. When I was in high school, always wanted to be a mathematician because I was very good in maths. That's something I can do without, you have to study, but I put little effort, I'll get the concept and I move forward. Unlike medicine, I have to work and work and work and work and work. But when I went to go to university, I say, well, I look at Africa then, I say, well, I look at my colleagues who study, America is different. That's Africa, who study other courses, university end up doing buying and selling with small capital. Nothing wrong with buying and selling, you have the capital, you can make a lot of money. I said, well, if I really want to earn a decent job, become a doctor, I need to be a doctor, and I go for it. That was me. Then I wanted to go to the best university in Nigeria those days, which is Ibadan, but I was ready to go and study medicine in Sokoto or northern Nigeria than to study mathematics in Ibadan. So that was me. I know my career. I don't mind going anywhere to get it done. But yeah, then finish school, of course. Now I'm here in the US. The sky is my limit. I always want, I'm an OBGYN by trade, right from Africa, Europe, before coming to the US. When I came here, I said, OBGYN. I didn't get the OBGYN specialty. Again, broadening your perspective. When I applied for residency personally for career, I got 10 interviews. As a foreigner, despite my scores, I got only about 12 interviews. While an American will get like 50. That's the truth. You have to take my, so I got 12 interviews, 1 family practice, and 11 OBGYN. I matched in the family practice. I said, well, I don't want to do family practice. I'm going to do OBGYN. Almost didn't want to come, but finally I came. I am very, very happy that I ended up in family practice. Today, I do family practice, I do OBGYN, I do other businesses.
Awesome.
So my career is broad. I
Wonderful.
can quit general practice now and just do telemedicine. You know,
Yes.
last year alone, putting some hours in telemedicine, I made almost my salary in telemedicine, working half of the time. And this is something I just log in and talk to people and pay me. So for my brothers and sisters, you can be anything you want. Dream.
Yes.
But property, that's perspective. Don't narrow it.
Yes.
Narrow it, that's the problem. I want to be the best professor in history, study, become a history professor, finish it, write books, sky is the limit. But be willing that when you cannot put food on the table with what you've studied, to go into business or look for something that is more available.
Yes. Be flexible, be agile.
Yes, be flexible. Yes, I like that. Thank you, Dr. Igoji. We appreciate you. We didn't want to mean to cut you off, Reverend Michael, but Dr. Igoji is coming to us. I don't know where he is in the world, but trust me, he is coming to us between delivering babies. So when he's between babies, we got to let him say what he has to say, because they'll be calling him in another minute, because he's probably got 3 or 4 babies lined up to deliver tonight.
I appreciate that.
So we thank everyone for joining us today. This was a wonderful topic. We had some very exciting guests. We had Lieutenant Keishan from the New York Police Department, Prophetess Christy Rivers, who is a lab technician, and Reverend Michael, who is a business development and investment specialist, and our Chief Medical Director for Africaonline, Reverend Dr. Goji. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. My co-host.
Dr. Goji, she just called you a reverend, so you need to go into ministry.
Did I call him Reverend? Let me see, he got Chief, Dr. Sir.
Yeah. No, he has to go into ministry, but I think we need to take a last round before we go.
Yes.
And Reverend Michael is going to be back next week. Oh, Dr. Goji, next week we're talking about entrepreneurship.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes.
Do you all have a Clubhouse account?
Clubhouse account?
We'll talk about that later. Yes.
No, I'm just asking because it is actually exploding. And I see some many Africans there that at least I don't know that this particular platform is there. That's all. I'm just sharing information.
No, we are not. We're not. Whatever that is, we're not. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Let Ambassador Lisa educate us on that after this.
No, we have to have Reverend Mike educate us on that.
Okay. He'll be here next week.
Yeah, next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday.
That's okay. All right.
It's
a pleasure meeting all of you. I really enjoyed the session.
I'm glad. We enjoyed having you.
Reverend Michael, don't go away just yet. You have to give us your last word, but we'll start with Dr. Ogoji to give us his last word. Then you take your turn. Then we wrap up the program.
All right. Dr. Ogoji, go ahead.
Well, my last word is no matter what you do, you dream big and try to make your career fun. If you enjoy what you're doing, keep doing it. If you don't enjoy it, think twice and change direction.
Yeah.
That way, you're going to enjoy it and live long, and then you don't have to struggle to please people.
Thank you.
Reverend Michael, thank you for coming again, but you're not going away. You're just giving your last word to come back next week. For now, your last word.
Okay.
Yes.
Just like Dr. Goji said, everybody dreams, but not everybody just not implement any dream or inspiration that is given to them, because many people are scared about stepping out and making whatever God has given them work for society. I pray that our people will see opportunity that the United States offers and don't limit themselves, but no, dream bigger, because the solutions in Africa can be solved many times by the diaspora. And that is where we have to be thinking about. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Please make it a date next Sunday. We really want to see you here. Thank you, Reverend Michael, for coming. Please have a good week. And Ambassador Lisa, your last word.
My last word on the topic is, again, I'm going to piggyback off my two brothers. Dream big. And if your dream does not scare you, it is not God's will for you.
Yeah, son. Okay.
Thank you so much. I thought she was still speaking. So,
no.
Okay, Reverend Pam, your last word.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank all our speakers. Dr. Goji was talking about his kids wanting to be police officers. We had a dynamic, articulate Lieutenant Keishan Hickman on this show, and he will be back, you know, and Ambassador Lisa, you really rock, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you bring so much life to this show. You're so dedicated, you and your song. Thank you so much. My last word about this is, I want to just encourage our people that your job is not necessarily your career. There's a difference.
Yes.
You know? And if your career cannot give you a job, you need to get a job. A job is something that you do to earn a living, you know, and you may have gone into a particular profession and you can't find a job. Don't sit and be a couch potatoes because, you know, your career path has not led you to any employment. You know, you can find a job while you wait till next week to hear from Reverend Michael how to start a business or what we're going to do with entrepreneurship, you know, or become self-employed. Don't always wait for somebody to employ you. As somebody who is self-employed, I know the challenges and I know the benefits. You know, wait and see what is more important to you. Because even as a business person, if you don't have the business, you don't eat. But if you, as an employee, you go to work, you get paid, whether the business makes money or not. But then I want our people to encourage our people to start thinking big, start dreaming big, and do something about it, not just, you know, talk. So I want to invite and encourage everybody to Zoom in next Sunday, same time, and we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, self-employment, you know, as a sequel to this career path. Dr. Goji, I sent you a text about the end of the month. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much, Reverend Michael, Dr. Goji, Ambassador Lisa, and our chair, Reverend Pam. Thank you all for coming today. It's been a pleasure. What a way to start the last month of the year in this discussion forum that we have. And we will not relent. We will not give up. We will never say, oh no, it's too much for me. So thank you all for coming. And Reverend Michael, I repeat again, we need to see you next week.
Thank you
so much.
Oh, he'll be our main guest next week. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'll be there.
All right.
Thank you.
You don't know. I mean, you have to. Lisa has been one of the most fantastic people I've ever known. She doesn't. She has some extraordinary patience. She never complains. Sometimes you ignore her and she never comes. So why didn't you just? But she'll just come back quietly. God has blessed you, my sister. You are.
Thank you so much.
I'm telling you.
Thank you, Reverend Michael.
But I don't respond to her text message because she doesn't give up, and that is the heart of a blessed woman.
That's why she's our global ambassador. Thank you.
Yes.
She will never scold you. She will never complain. But she just quietly come back and say,
Enough. Call me on the phone and give me all those accolades.
All right. No, I have to tell your group.
Well. In my dialect, they say, good talk, put out fire from past pipe. so we can continue to
Wow.
talk and we'll lose the fire from our pipe. So let us not do that because there's no neighboring house with a fire, so we'll not be able to smoke our pipe anymore. Let us just keep it for next week. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Bye.